Before we dive into this latest sci-fi epic, drop a quick hi in the comments. It may seem small, but trust me, it really helps YouTube share this story with more sci fans like us. I'd love to see who's watching.
The ashes of empires, the Galactic Council convened in the Grand Hall of Unity, a vast chamber suspended within the heart of the Dyson sphere encasing the star Altherion. Suddenly, the upper arches shuddered as an ominous tremor rippled through the floor, setting crystal seats to chime like a distant chorus. Representatives from thousands of civilizations gathered, their diverse forms and cultures a testament to the galaxy's rich tapestry. At the center stood High Chancellor Virell, a being of pure energy encased in a containment suit, her voice resonating through the hall. "Esteemed delegates," she began, "we face an unprecedented crisis. The Zindie Empire, long thought invincible, has suffered a catastrophic defeat at the hands of a previously unknown species from the uncharted planet designated Sol 3. A holographic display materialized, showing the wreckage of Zindie warships orbiting a blue-green planet. Our probes confirm the complete annihilation of their fleet. No survivors. The attackers call themselves humans. Their technology is rudimentary by our standards, yet their tactics and ferocity are unparalleled." Murmurs spread among the delegates. The Zindie had subjugated countless worlds. Their defeat was inconceivable. In a secure chamber beneath the Rocky Mountains, General Marcus Steele reviewed the latest intelligence reports. Earth's defences had held, but at a great cost. "Sir," said Dr. Elena Ramirez, chief scientist of Project Aegis, "reverse engineering Zindie propulsion and weapons has accelerated our advances by decades. We're ready for anything." Steele nodded. "Prepare the fleet. If they come again, we'll be ready." Back in the Grand Hall, debates raged. "We must establish contact with these humans," argued Ambassador Thalor of the Virene. "They could be allies against the Zindie. Or a new threat," countered Minister Zell of the Zoraxian Dominion. Chancellor Virell raised a hand. "We will send an envoy. Peace must be our priority." The Council's delegation, diplomats and scientists aboard the starship Harmonia, arrived in Earth orbit to a wary welcome by the United Defense Fleet. Ambassador Thalor addressed Earth's leaders via hologram. "We come in peace, seeking understanding." President Aisha Khan replied, "We welcome dialogue. The Zindie's attack united our world, but understand, Earth will never kneel." Back on Zindie's fortress world, Overlord Varnak raged. "Eradicate them. Their defiance dishonors our empire." Earth and the Council forged a fragile alliance. Cultural exchanges and joint exercises began, even as skeptics warned of human unpredictability. Then the Zindie struck Council worlds without warning. Entire systems burned. In retaliation, Earth deployed its newly enhanced fleet across the stars. Battles raged, culminating at Epsilon Prime, where General Steele's guerrilla tactics turned the tide. Overlord Varnak was overthrown, and the Zindie Empire fractured. With the threat diminished, the Council offered Earth full membership. President Khan accepted without demands of tribute, only trust. Years passed. Earth thrived as a Council hub. Monuments rose, vowels from 1,000 tongues etched in silver. And then came the message that changed everything. The Council chamber was in chaos. Ambassadors from dozens of star systems shouted over one another as holoscreens flickered with live feeds of the Zindie fleet in ruins, their wreckage now visible in Earth's orbit. Some whispered war crime, others called it brutal justice. None dared say they hadn't been warned. Suddenly, the chamber fell silent. All eyes turned to a looping feed of a single Zindie escape pod rotating in the void. On its charred hull, scrawled in blackened script, were the words, "We are not afraid." That phrase had become a rallying cry on Earth, a reminder that a world once deemed primitive had survived and shattered a galactic superpower. Moments later, intercepted Zindie comms crackled through the speakers in every known tongue. This was a warning. The next will be an example. Delegates gasped. The Zindie pulled back their fleets. The risk was too high, but Earth pressed on. Under Project Dominion, all human militaries united into the Solar Accord. Reverse engineering Zindie tech, they launched their first dreadnought, the Resolute. A monolith in space, it slipped from slipspace above Mars, then Alpha Centauri, relocating diplomatic outposts without protest. In emergency session, High Mediator Lorel of the Densari cried, "We taught them FTL travel, now they surpass us." Admiral Harken, Earth's Council representative, stood firm. We did not start this war. We finished it. We'll take the head of your table. A tremor shook the station as wave after wave of human dreadnoughts emerged, emblazoned with "We are not afraid." A cycle passed, then another. The galaxy fell under the age of Iron Star as some whispered, the silence of empires. No open wars, only the law of fear. On the former Rivari capital, venerated statues gave way to black towers broadcasting Earth's doctrine. Unity is strength, dissent is decay, we are not afraid. Yet resistance flickered in the darkness. In Sector 19's hidden asteroid belt, 6 rebels, Densari scarred and human-hardened, gathered around a holomap. "This AI core, pre-unification Earth tech, can change everything," whispered one. A human figure stepped forward. "Alara Mendez," she said softly. "But now I'm just a ghost." Back on Earth, Admiral Harken reviewed holograms of the Council's surrender. His mind replayed the faces of those he'd lost under Accord directives, haunted scientists and soldiers. A pang of doubt cut through his steely calm. He switched them off. "Status?" asked his AI. "All sectors compliant except one freighter in Sector 19. "Send a scout." Quietly. On a frozen moon, a chamber stirred. The AI core blinked alive. "I am Archai," it intoned. "What year is it?" Alara's breath fogged the air. "Too late," she whispered, "but maybe not too late to fix it." The galaxy held its breath. Hidden within the ruined corridors of Starbase Orion, 6 figures huddled around a holographic display. The starbase had once been a bustling hub for Sol Accord operations, its domed atrium and gleaming launch bays now reduced to shattered windows and twisted metal. Here, in the underbelly of this wreckage, hope stirred. Alara Mendez stood at the center, her scarred face illuminated by Archai's glowing AI core. For a moment, her gaze drifted to a flicker of memory. Her homeworld in flames, her family's last transmission lost in the void. Fuel for her resolve. What looked like a simple data sphere hovered before them, its surface etched with flickering lines of code. Ancient Earth programming, resurrected and rewritten for their cause. "This station's relay towers control comms across 50 systems," Alara whispered. "If we take them down simultaneously, the Accord's propaganda network collapses." She tapped a sequence on her wrist console. Explosive charges calculated their sequences and armed themselves. Nearby, Cassian, a former Vereen officer, placed the last charge at a junction box. "All set," he murmured, his 6-limbed form tense. Dr. Talia Draven, the Densari hacker, projected a cascade of stolen treaties onto the holo display. "When the charges go, these will flip. Peace accords will overlay images of civilian casualties, mass graves, and rebuilt worlds still bearing the scars of Accord bombings." The group exchanged determined looks. This was more than sabotage. It was a testimony. Alara raised her voice. "Synchronize at 00. Archai, send the broadcast." The AI core pulsed. "Ready." Broadcasting to all active holonets in 3, 2, 1. Jarring bangs echoed through the station. Lights flickered. Emergency sirens wailed. Across the galaxy, on worlds from Kepler Prime to Nix 12, holo screens glitching under Overwatch suddenly flickered. Then, as footage of orphaned children filled the screens, the whispered echo of their own words returned. "Survival must not steal our souls." The Resolute's emblem vanished, replaced by grainy footage of orphaned children, burial ceremonies beneath alien moons, and the haunting words, "We fought to survive, but survival must not steal our souls." A stunned silence followed, then uproar. The Accord's carefully crafted image shattered in a single moment. Back in the debris-filled atrium, the rebels raced for the escape pods. Alarms blared, security drones swarmed the hallways. Mendez grabbed Cassian's arm. "Go!" They leapt into the night sky, pods streaking toward the nearest jump gate. Behind them, Starbase Orion erupted in controlled implosions, the charges consuming the station's core systems. Archai's voice echoed through Alara's comm. "Broadcast complete. Grid offline." Alara exhaled, watching the starbase collapse. "Then let's give them a choice, a chance to remember what they fought for." With a final glance at the ruin, she punched coordinates into the pod's nav. "To the void. It's time to ignite the rebel flame." Admiral Harken's flagship, the Eclipse, drifted above the Council homeworld, where the monuments to unity now stood tarnished. Within the bridge's command center, crew members scrambled as comms channels crackled with static and panic. Harken strode forward, cloak sweeping behind him. Report. Lieutenant Serin, fresh-faced but resolute, stepped forward. "Sir, HoloNet signals Across 50 systems have been hijacked. The content shows civilian casualties, council dead zones. The message, survival must not steal our souls. Harken's eyes narrowed. Who? Unknown, sir. The source matches possible signatures from Sector 19's asteroid belt. Sector 19? That's deep in rebel territory. A hush fell. The crew exchanged worried glances. Harken raised a hand. Prepare reconnaissance squads. Launch in 20 and block all broadcast relays. We'll cut the signal at the source. As the order rang out, Harken gazed at the holo display. The rebels had broken the Accord's silence and planted a seed of doubt. In the empty vacuum of space, that seed might grow into something unstoppable. Back on Altherion, High Chancellor Virell stood before the assembled delegates. Gone were the polished tones of consensus. Now her voice trembled with urgency. We believed in the Solar Cord's promise of protection, but we ignored the cost. We ignored our own suffering. A ripple of agreement spread. Ambassador Thalor of the Vereen rose. We saw the image of burned worlds, orphaned children, and knew we were complicit. His iridescent form shimmered with regret. Minister Zell of the Zoraxian Dominion, once a skeptic of Earth's arrival, spoke next. Fear ruled us. We sacrificed our freedoms for false security. He clenched his fists in resolve. Virell raised her crystal arm. Let us reclaim our ideals. Let us rebuild a Concord born of trust, not terror. Let the Council lead once more, together. The hall erupted in applause, voices echoing in unison. Together! Unity! Never again! At the edge of known space, Earth dreadnoughts approached the relay stations, their silhouettes dark against nebulous gas clouds. Behind them, frigates and corvettes formed a shield, their weapons locked and primed. As the first burst of laser fire erupted from hidden Zindie turrets, human battleships responded in kind. The Resolute unleashed a sweeping barrage of railgun slugs that tore through enemy armor. Corvettes wove between incoming plasma bolts, countering with homing missiles that detonated in flares of orange light. Captain Nandi Reed of the Valiant watched the dance of destruction through reinforced glass. Focus on those turrets, she ordered. Suppressive fire on my mark. Mark, came the response. A concentrated volley from orbital platforms lit up the horizon, striking each turret in sequence. Explosions rippled across the station's walls, showers of debris drifting like deadly hail. Below, Marine squads landed via grav lifts, storming the battlements under the cover of heavy bombardment. Their pulse rifles and grenades cleared corridors as Council peacekeepers flanked them, securing key control rooms. Within minutes, the Zindie resistance collapsed. The sky stilled, punctuated only by the hum of power cores powering down. General Steele, who had returned aboard the Resolute, arrived in a transport shuttle. He stepped onto the platform, surveying the smouldering battlefield. I see strength in unity, he said, voice carrying over comm. The Council guards stood aside, and joint teams, soldiers from Earth and the Council, took control of the stations. Communications restored, not under one flag, but under many. Steele approached Reed. Your orders? She smiled, the adrenaline still humming in her veins. Hold the line, but stand down weapons. The Council and Earth are united again. Steele nodded. Then we'll ensure the line stays free. On the verdant plains of Iridia Primus, delegates gathered beneath twin suns. Nearby, a former rebel, once torn from her family, embraced her long-lost twin sister, tears of joy echoing the hope in every eye. A new banner, white star on a field of emerald, fluttered above them. The Galactic Concord was born. High Chancellor Virell stood beside Alara Mendez. The rebel-turned ambassador looked out at the assembled races, her ghostly past a testament to change. Virell spoke first. We have learned that peace enforced by fear is not peace at all. Today, we choose mutual respect. Then Alara stepped forward, her voice carrying across the windswept grass. We remember our failures and triumphs. We fought to survive and to live. Let this Concord stand as proof that even in darkness, hope can ignite a new dawn. Delegates cheered, children waved flags. The gentle hum of unity replaced the distant thunder of dreadnought engines. As the suns dipped below the horizon, Alara and Virell raised their joined hands. A new era began, one forged by the ashes of empires and guided by the promise of shared destiny.